It's Fill Your Plate Now, where every bite brings you closer to the farm gate and further from what's unhealthy. Now here's your hosts, Julie and Tammy, helping you live well by filling your plate well.
Welcome to Fill Your Plate Now. I'm Tammy.
And I'm Julie.
And we are very excited about our program today. It's Loco about local. I'm really excited about this because, to me, it's like reading a book. When you read a good book and you get to hear the author speak, it just means so much more to you. And today we're going to the farm to hear about where our food comes from, to hear more about everything that goes into the food that comes to our table. And I think it really just adds a lot of meaning that this is local. These are locally produced foods, local farmers, and that this food gets to our table generally in 24, 48 hours.
Yeah, we're saying with our lead in, we're local about local, and we love it. One other thing I wanted to kind of highlight before we bring our guests on, we have two of them. There are 751 farms who sell directly to consumers here in the state of Arizona alone, which is pretty exciting because, when you go back east, you might think there's a lot more local in terms of farming. And Massachusetts has an amazing local base of their farming. The majority of their farms are local. So then you come out west and you see this desert landscape and you forget how local we are with our agriculture. So it's a pretty neat number to be able to say 751 Arizona farms sell directly. We call them direct market farms or retail farms. But we've got some pretty special guests today.
We do. Our first guest today is Josh Gladden from Saddle Mountain Dairy, and he's going to be giving us insight on all things dairy and talking about his family farm.
And because dairy, you're going to be asking most of the questions to Josh. But my guest that I brought on is Ashley Mortimer of Mortimer Farms. Ashley, welcome. Josh, welcome. And this is going to be fun because our dairy represents, it's all local pretty much. And then Ashley, her family farm, Mortimer Farms, they do everything local. So yeah, it's kind of fun.
And the nature of agriculture, it is on the outskirts of town or in rural areas. So most people don't have any contact with it. So I think This is going to be a lot of fun. Josh, thank you so much for being with us today. Wanted to start out by just having you tell us a little bit about your family farm and how it got started.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tammy and Julie. Excited to join you guys today. So we're out in Buckeye, Arizona. We're kind of a fourth generation farm here in Arizona, combination dairy operation and farm operation. So we began the operation as a dairy back in Chandler a long time ago with my great-grandfather. Then we went to just farming for quite a while and got back into the dairy business about 25 years ago. So we milk, around 5,000 cows out here in Buckeye on a couple of sites, raise most all of the feed ourselves. Are members of the United Dairymen of Arizona, which is our local co-op that helps us get our milk to the local communities so quickly and stuff. And so excited to be with you guys and just share a little bit more about the operation.
And Josh, your scene behind you is so awesome. We can see the dairy. It looks beautiful. So Ashley Mortimer of Mortimer Farms, why don't you answer the same question? How did your family get started? And then even mention some of the crops that you're growing today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. It's exciting to be here with Josh. I haven't done a multiple farmers in one interview before. This is super cool. But our family farm is in Dewey, Arizona. We are about an hour north of Phoenix, and we are open to the public. So people can come and enjoy a real life farm experience and harvest their own food and hear about the story of their food straight from the farmer. We always say that we're not just telling our story when people come and visit and have fun and enjoy the real farm experience, but we're telling the story of farmers and ranchers across Arizona and across the country. So we take that very seriously. We have a huge privilege to be able to share that story. So my family, both my parents grew up in agriculture. They both moved away from the farm when they were in high school, middle school time when they were younger. And then when they met, they knew that they wanted to raise their family on a farm or a ranch. And so we moved to the ranch. That's just a few miles away from the farm, and started a cattle operation. And then we moved here to this property and decided to have the agritourism part of what we do open to the public. So that was a huge draw to this property. It's right on the highway of 69 and 169. So a great opportunity for families to come and connect to that, the story of their food, which is what we're all about here at the farm.
It's easy to get to your farm, and most families know about Mortimer Farms just because you guys spend a lot of time telling your story, and Ashley's their chief marketing officer, so she's rocking it when it comes to marketing it.
I love the agritourism part of it too, because it is helping the community to understand exactly what goes into making their food and growing their food. And Josh, you alluded to it a little bit earlier, but I know besides dairy, there are other sources of revenue that can be generated from the dairy. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so alongside the dairy, and that's where most of my family's background has been, is in the farming side. So we've been growing, forage crops, cotton, wheat, everything that you grow in Arizona over the last 60, 70 years out here on the west side. So like I said, once we got back in the dairy side, then we transitioned most of the farm ground to forage crops. So we grow a lot of alfalfa, we grow a lot of corn for silage, triticale during the winter. And so almost all of the acres and production off the farm go to the dairy. So it works as a really nice system. The farm's able to grow the feed. We are able to take that feed, use it to feed the cows. The cows, we can use that manure to put back on the ground to fertilize the ground. And then also with the dairy, we're able to take a lot of the water that we use that gets recycled 2 to 3 times on the dairy. And then even after that, we can use it back on the farm. So they just go hand in hand and are really complementary of each other.
That's great. And I know water is always an issue, and just knowing it's recycled as many times as it is amazing. I know you get the most use out of it you possibly can.
So Ashley, what are you guys growing? And you're also raising, because I know you do beef. So tell the whole story.
So we grow 54 different crops here at the farm. We want to be very diverse for the people that are coming to visit the farm, that they can see a lot of different things being grown. And then also we supply our market and deli that is here at the farm, our windmill kitchen that we grow, or that we use ingredients that we grow at the farm for our weddings and for all of the catering that we do on property. And then we also go to farmers markets across the state. So that diversity really helps in all of those aspects. We also raise cattle, pigs, sheep, chickens, turkeys, ducks, you name it. We have it here at the farm and at the ranch. Our goal is to give that full experience like I've been talking about. And so to be able to have all of that diversity really helps with the guest experience, helps ensure that we have all the ingredients that we need so that we can have a true farm to table experience here at the farm and be able to supply food for our customers' tables.
And you have farm to table monthly dinners, I believe, correct?
We do. Yes. They're one of my favorite things. One of the upscaled things that we do at the farm. It's a plated, seated dinner, 4 courses. We pair it with wine.
She was probably saying we're pairing it with Arizona wine, because I know. I've eaten it there.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting dinner. That would be fun to go to.
And they do it monthly. Actually, you and I should go kind of have the experience and then talk about that on Fill Your Plate Now.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea. And Josh, I know, we were talking about all the different crops and everything, and I wanted to ask too, in Arizona, we found out recently from an economist that Arizona is like the 29th largest economic powerhouse in the U.S. What do you find are some of the challenges, though, with dairying in Arizona?
Yeah, there definitely are some challenges. I think agriculture in general has plenty of challenges, but dairying here in Arizona, water is definitely one of the biggest ones. Like you mentioned earlier, that's going to continue to be an issue when we go through drought years. And then also, with the problems of urban sprawl, and that's another one. We continue to have houses built on farm ground, expanding cities. So the need for water between the cities, drought years. So water's a big one. Like I said, urban sprawl is another one. I think all of agriculture, has an issue with labor. It continues to be a challenge that we'll always face, at this point in time. So there's a lot of them, but there's also a lot of opportunity, that we find to maximize some of these challenges and make the best of what we've been given. Make sure that we're good stewards of the environment and the resources that we do have, and stretch them as far as we can. So.
Yeah, I don't think I realized that you were originally in Chandler and then moved out from there. And dairy employs a lot of individuals, both directly and indirectly. We learned recently from an economist, so I'm sure labor can be an issue with that many employees.
It's got to be a challenge. And Ashley, I can tell you're back. We thought we'd ask you the same question. What are some of the challenges that your family faces, and specifically in farming locally? How do you overcome those challenges? Can you hear me?
I'm back. Sorry,
yeah.
It's not very often that your phone overheats in the winter time. I don't know what was going on, but that just shows how warm the greenhouses are.
Yes.
So anyways, the challenges that we have here at the farm and really across all farming is the weather. You plan and you try to execute your perfect plan, but there's so many things that are out of your control as farmers, whether it comes to the weather or water or the economy or the government. And so being able to pivot when those things happen and be able to continue forward in what it is that you're trying to do. Labor is also a really huge challenge for us. We don't have a very large labor pool of people that know how to farm around our area. We're one of the last farms in a large radius around this area. And so we have to bring in people from other places in the country, in the state, and use a lot of contract labor so that we can get skilled workforce to come and help us do what we do.
Well, and it's all in with the Mortimers, because I know there's more than one of you that's helping on the farm. So that does help a little bit, but you still need plenty of labor. So I think that's always going to be an ongoing commentary on challenges on the farm, is the whole labor issue.
Labor and water.
Yep,
Those
labor
two
and
things
water.
keep coming up.
Yep.
But I know that with dairy especially, but with all agriculture, they're generally family businesses. Josh, could you tell us what it is that you love most about dairying? I know it stays in the family. I know there's got to be a really common, strong bond there. What is it that you enjoy the most?
Yeah, definitely the family side of it's part of it and stuff. So I work on the dairy mainly, but in the operation, I work with my dad and my brother, and still have even a great uncle that's involved in the operation. So being able to to work with them every day, it can be challenging at times, but a lot of fun most of the time. So that's definitely rewarding. On the dairy side, I think one of the cool things is, that we get to see our results right away. I worked on the farming side a lot when I first got back from school, and loved it, still love it. I want to go back sometimes and tell my brother to go do the dairy side. But, on the farm, sometimes you put a lot of work in and don't always get to see the results until, a few months down the road, or see what's going to happen. On the dairy, most of the things that we're doing, because it's operating 24/7, you can see results right away. I mean, the next day, 2 days, 3 days, you make a change, you can see kind of what's going on, whether it was a good change, a bad change, and kind of get to evaluate from there. So kind of the feedback loop on the dairy is very quick, and which can be good and bad, but it's fun being able to get to see the results of what we do every day, and kind of work to maximize those results continuously.
Josh, I have to tell you, I know your brother Clint a little bit better, just because I know you guys have to divide and conquer with all of the volunteer leadership roles that you serve, but Clint is a little bit more involved on the Arizona Farm Bureau. And just the Gladden family, like the Mortimer family, just precious agriculture people, Tammy, that you and I get to work with on a regular basis, almost daily in some ways.
Absolutely.
So I was going to ask some of the streams of your direct market in selling your product, Ashley. Obviously, you have your farm store, which I can almost go to your store and get everything I need in my grocery shopping bag almost, but where's some of the ways that you sell your product directly to Arizona families?
So the market and deli is our main area, and this is
Okay.
actually what's behind me now. Moved
Oh,
from the
okay.
greenhouse into the market and deli, and this is where really our local grocery store for our community and for people that are coming to visit. And just like you, Julie, I try to do all of my shopping or be able to do all of my shopping here. If I have to go to Prescott Valley or to a grocery store for something, then I'm looking to see if there's another local place that we can get that product and carry it in the market. So we have milk here, bread, eggs, beef, pork, jarred items, you name it, vegetables, all the things that you need, all the kitchen staples, so that people can come and shop right here directly from the farmer. Then we also go to farmers markets across the state. Depending on the time of year, we go to different markets, and we'll go to more during our main growing season. During the winter months, we go to Arrowhead, Gilbert, Sedona, and Anthem farmers markets. And then during our main growing season, we go up to 10 different farmers markets a week. Then we do lots of wholesale, have lots of wholesale clients that we sell directly from the farm to those wholesale clients, restaurants and retailers in the valley and in our area, and restaurants. And then that's the farmers market, the market deli, and then wholesale. Those are our three top distributors or ways that we distribute our products.
In the wholesale market, I know you do that a lot with your pumpkins, and because you're further up north, temperatures are a little bit cooler, where my pumpkin farmer in the Tucson area, Pima County, might only be able to grow 4 varieties. Remind me again how many pumpkin varieties you're growing during
we
this
grow
season?
50 different pumpkin varieties, all the way from every different color and size and striped, warded. You can imagine, we grow them here at the farm.
That is so amazing.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I didn't realize that. 50 different types.
Yeah, and most of it is because it's cooler where they're growing their pumpkins.
Okay.
Whereas, and I only learned this just last year during October, during the fall,
Yeah,
interviewing.
Marina.
Yeah.
Yep, I tuned into that video.
Oh, fun. Yes, and I didn't realize that that would make such a difference in how much someone could grow in terms of varieties of pumpkins. So the Mortimer Farm is just in a perfect location for them to be able to have those varieties. A little bit of agriculture tidbit for our listeners.
Well, and over 90% of the milk you see in the grocery store is from our local dairies here in Arizona as well. Josh, could you tell us a little bit about where your milk goes and some of the other milk from other producers in the state?
Yes, so we're a part of, like I mentioned earlier, United Dairymen of Arizona, which is the main co-op here in Arizona. So almost pretty much all the dairies in Arizona are part of the United Dairymen of Arizona. And so that's a marketing co-op that gets together and basically can pool our milk, and they take care of helping us get it to the right customers, contracts, etc. So we actually milk a herd of a lot of crossbred and Jersey animals. And so a lot of our milk ends up at the cheese plant in Tempe, which is called Schreiber Foods. And they do a lot of most of the slices of American cheese that you find on fast food every day. So McDonald's, In-N-Out, a lot of those places. Schreiber Foods is where our milk goes most of the time. But here in Arizona, you've got a pretty diverse group of milk plants. So the co-op itself owns a powder plant there in Tempe. So we take a lot of milk there and dry it, and then we ship those dry milk products all around the world. A lot of it gets exported all across the world. We also have places like Kroger. So our milk every once in a while end up at Kroger plant. And so that's in your fries, your local fries. And so it's going from the farm to being in the local fries within, 24 to 36 hours a lot of times. We have some other fluid plants. Fairlife is a big new plant that we have that we're really happy to partner with. And a lot of people are familiar with their kind of value-added milk, lactose-free milk products that they make. So it's a really diverse group here in Arizona. You can go everywhere from fluid milk to dried milk to cheese. We do have some yogurt, cream cheese, etc. plants down in the Casa Grande area. So really, pretty much any dairy product you can think of is made here locally out of local milk.
And I believe some does go to Daisy also, correct? Sour cream
Yeah,
and
sour
cottage cheese.
cream,
Yeah.
cottage cheese, etc. Yeah, Daisy plant has a plant there in Casa Grande. So
And with our fluid milk, if you look at the top of your container, there you'll see an O4. If it is an Arizona product, that indicates that it was processed here in Arizona. But we also have a handout available on our website, arizonamilk.org, that will list all of the different products that Arizona Milk goes into, as well as where you can purchase them.
That's why we can be crazy about celebrating local, because when it comes to the dairy, you've got all sorts of options. So, Ashley, what do you consider the most rewarding part of being a local farmer, or is it better to say being part of Mortimer Farms?
Oh, that's a hard question because there's so many answers that I could give you, so many rewarding parts about being a farmer, being a local farmer, being an Arizona farmer, being a part of Mortimer Farms. But I would say that my top reason that I love doing what I do is the community connection and being able to be a part of feeding people.
I love that. And again, that tie-in, you're a critical part of that food supply chain. That's neat.
And Josh, wanted to ask you too, in terms of any misconceptions people might have about farming or dairy, anything that you feel needs to be cleared up?
oh, I think how much time do we have? No, I'm just joking. There's plenty of stuff. I think on the dairy side, one thing we see quite a bit of sometimes here in Arizona is there are a lot of large farms. Just because of the scale and efficiency needed in Arizona with limited resources we do. So a lot of people would consider us a large farm, but as far away from a factory farm as you could think of. I mean, we're still a family farm. I work with my dad and brother and a bunch of other families every day to do everything we can to make sure we take great care of the cows and provide, a safe and nutritious product. So I think sometimes, it kind of gets vilified a little bit, but we are able to, at this scale, have the resources we need to take care of the cows, just like everyone else does. And do the best we can, but it's still a family operation, whether it's our family, on the one side, and then working with multiple other families in the community, other families that work with us on the operation, neighboring farms, neighboring farm families. So I think that's one thing that maybe gets misunderstood a little bit sometimes.
So, Josh, that's so cool that both you and Ashley spoke to community and that community connection, and you definitely can get it because of what the two of you do. And the other thing that I really appreciate that you brought up is just, your operation may, to the uninformed consumer, appear large, but it's still family run. And we have a lot of large farms, but they're large family farms. The Hickmans, that's a large egg production farm, but it's run by the kids. It's a family farm. And they might have even incorporated it, so you could call it a corporate farm, just to protect the family and the business, but it's still a family farm. Ashley, as you well know, and wanting to tell listeners, Fill Your Plate, fillyourplate.org has seasonal charts. So someone can go there and see the seasons and find out what's grown in that particular season. And they're real fun because the charts are real colorful, and it allows you to know what's in season at what time. But my question to you, Ashley, is do you have a favorite season of all of the fruits and vegetables grown? And granted, you have greenhouses, so in some ways you can grow some of those vegetables year round, but is there one season that's a favorite, and why?
Yes, I have two favorite seasons. My first favorite is blackberry season. I absolutely love blackberries and love everything that season is, being able to harvest them right off the vine and eat them in the warm Arizona sunshine. There's just nothing better. And then being able to see kids come back into the market after having a fun day and having blackberry stained faces is just amazing. I also love pumpkin season. I love all of the different varieties of pumpkins. I think they are so beautiful, and it's so awesome to see that rewarding all the hard work that goes into every season be able to be fruitful at the end of the season, and have people come and experience the fall season and be able to just be goo goo gaga over all of the pumpkins that we grow is super, super special.
speaking of your blackberry season, one time when I was up there, your mom, Charlotte, had one of her grandbabies on her hip, and you'll have to remind me of her name, but your little niece was just gobbling the blackberries. And to your point, she had the juicy blackberry juice just going down her chin. And so I asked for permission. I posted it on our Instagram reel, and it went, for us, for our size, it went kind of viral. It was so cute. And we didn't even put any text or script to it. We just posted the little reel, and she was chomping down on those big, oversized blackberries. That's the other thing about Mortimer Farms. If you go during blackberry season, it doesn't last very long. But those blackberries are huge. They really
are. Yes, we have two different varieties that we grow. One variety is a little less sweet than the other variety, but that less sweet variety is super, super large. And then we have a second variety that is a little bit smaller and super, super sweet. So you get the best of both worlds. And I love combining them and getting that delicious flavor and that big flavor profile.
Awesome.
Well, and luckily, milk is year-round. Cows produce all year round. I don't know what we'd do if we had a season without milk. It would be horrible.
It would not be good.
But we do have seasons, and not coming from an ag background, one of the things I was most impressed with is the cow care on the dairies and how amazing it is and all they do to keep the cows comfortable, for instance, during the hot time of year. Josh, could you tell everybody a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I don't know that I'd call summer our favorite season on the dairy. It's definitely the most challenging, but a lot of thought and work does go into making sure the cows are comfortable. So everything during the summer has shades that have fans and misters running pretty much all the time. And when it gets really hot, they can run 24/7. But with this cooling, especially in the early summer months when it's pretty dry, we can drop the temperature for the cows by 25 to 30 degrees underneath the shade. So we're able to help maintain production, maintain comfort for the cow really well, given that we're facing some pretty harsh conditions outside. So we take a lot of care and work every year coming up on summer to make sure that we're set up and we're continually looking for every way that we can to maintain that cow's comfort through the summer, because she does get, the heat's going to cause her to drop some production. She just doesn't want to eat as much. She's not super uncomfortable or anything wrong, but she just doesn't want to eat as much if she's a little bit warm and heat stressed. So anything we can do to keep her cool, comfortable, we'll do it. We'll work at it, and that just helps her stay more comfortable, eat what she wants to eat, lay down when she wants to lay down, and make as much milk as she can. So.
Well, that's a question I have. Are your fans seasonal? I mean, do you actually have to operate your fans during the winter?
No, that is one nice part. So this time of year, this is why this is our favorite time of year, because the utility bill's a lot nicer to look at and stuff. But this time of year, the fans are not on. Usually we'll turn them on kind of end of April, beginning of May, and they'll usually run, depending on the season and how hot we stay. Like this year, they ran all the way into probably the last of October, early November. But the rest of the year, we can turn them off, and it's perfect temperature, perfect climate for the cows the rest of the year.
We're really lucky in Arizona, but I do remember I took one of my photographers out to one of our local dairies, and they had us, just for the experience, go in under the shades, and the fan misters were going. It actually got cold for me in the middle of the summer because I think you guys, I don't know what, the digital readout, I remember it saying 67 degrees. I mean, it was cold. I couldn't stay in there very long. I think the girls really enjoyed it, the dairy girls, but it was too cold for me. So, Ashley, in your role on the family farm, you probably deal with this all the time. But what's one of the craziest questions you get from consumers that's pretty much a misconception that you try to address?
Ooh, the craziest. That is a hard question. We get a lot of misconceptions at the farm, really with every different commodity that we grow and that we sell here in the market. We get crazy misconceptions about dairy and milk, and crazy misconceptions about even just organic versus conventional. And so being able to educate people and be able to be a trusted source, to be able to give them information and make them feel confident and comfortable in that. I always tell people that we're not the exception to the rule. We're not doing something crazy and something that nobody else is doing. This is what all farming is like. All farmers care about their land, care about their animals, they're caring about the environment, they're growing food based on what the soil needs, and it's all a symbiotic relationship. And so to be able to give people confidence to know that that is what all food is, what all milk comes from, is really beautiful to see their just calm come over them of there's not people out there trying to kill me, and especially not farmers, because there's a lot of misconceptions about the love that farmers have for their land, and a lot of people that are spreading that farmers are horrible people, and that is just not the case. And so to be able to share firsthand experiences about all of the amazing farmers that I have met and that I get to work with and that are across Arizona and across the country, it's just so special.
One of the things that I've noticed on your farm is you guys do a lot of educational / informational signage. I think sometimes too, aren't you running videos? So if I go there and I don't really understand farming, just a walkabout on your farm will help me with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We always say that we have fun and have festivals to draw people here, and then our goal is to teach them. And so all of our rides and activities that we have, they all connect back to the farm. We use old farm things that are always laying around the farm and think outside the box to make them fun in our farm inspired rides, activities, and games. And then we have the ability to go out into the field and to harvest your own food. And so what better way to learn than to actually do it yourself and to see the hard work and dedication that the men and women in the fields are doing right next to you when you're harvesting your food for your table. So it's a full circle experience that they're firsthand experiencing and reading and seeing and asking questions straight from the farmers. Our crew that works out in the field, they are so cute. I stumbled upon one of their TikToks this morning. It came up on my For You page, and he's like in his 60s. He's worked for my family for 30 years. And I was scrolling, and every single video is him harvesting or the irrigation in the pivot field or putting down pavers to make an area for the guests, and just his passion for what he does and the hard work that he puts into what we do every single day is so evident on his TikTok, here in person, and the guests see that as well. And so guests can go up and talk to him, and they just love to explain how to harvest something or how something's grown. And although a lot of the people that we that work here with our family don't speak super great English or tons of English, they still have that connection to guests and come over the language barrier to be able to connect them to their food. And so it's just so special to see not only my family have a huge passion for what we do, but even the people that are working here. And a lot of our team members have worked here for 30 plus years. And then we have others that just work here on a contract basis during our main growing season. And that's even cool because usually they're out on farms that don't have a connection to the public, that they're just selling to the middleman, and then the middleman selling to the grocery store. And so they just get a kick out of being able to bring the produce right into the market and be able to tell people that, oh, we just harvested this in this field and you can go out there. So it's a huge community feel in farming.
Because that's true. You also have the You Pick. I love that TikToker story. I'm going to have to.
Isn't that so fun?
I'm going to have to follow him.
There you go.
Yeah.
A new TikTok follower.
Yes.
And I know we've really just kind of painted a broad stroke of what farming is like in Arizona, and given everybody a glimpse at the local angle. But Josh, I wanted to end with seeing if you had any stories or experiences that you additionally would like to share, or anything that we've missed that you'd like to tell our consumers.
Oh, I don't think so, Tammy. I mean, we just, like I said, we're privileged to be here doing what we're doing. We feel like we've got a great opportunity to produce some food for everybody, do it in a safe way, do it in a responsible way, and kind of share that story. Julie, you mentioned Clint earlier. He's a lot better. You should have had him on and stuff, but I suckered into it with the dairy side of things. So, but no, we feel fortunate to do it. We love being a part of the community. The dairy community is a very tight-knit community, one that has a lot of history in Arizona agriculture and a lot of big future in Arizona agriculture too. So we're fortunate to be a part of it, and just thankful for being able to do what we get to do every day.
And Ashley, I have a similar final question. Can you share a story or an experience that really encapsulates what farming means to you and your community?
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of touched a little bit on both of these stories earlier, but the two stories that come to mind is the one that I was talking about, the blackberry stained faces, and having kids go out into the field and harvest and be able to connect to that food and be able to take that home with them. And when they're coming through the market, have blackberry all over their face. It's just such a visual of the connection that they're having. And even furthermore, if they just come back with dirty hands and be able to connect to the land and connect to what farmers do every day. And that's what we do. We farmers, whether you're raising livestock or you're in the dairy industry or you're growing crops, the foundation of what we do is connecting back to the land and taking care of that crop and that animal. And so to be able to have people come and be able to be a part of that and see the magic that is there. We have so many people come and tell us how magical the farm feels and how it feels like a sanctuary and how it just feels like a calm amongst the crazy of the world. And that's what we get to experience every day. And although there is lots of challenges and lots of hardships and lots of crazy days in what we do with all the things that are out of our control, we always come back and do it again and again and again because of that connection that we have and the feeling that this is much bigger than ourselves and much bigger than just a job to us, which that kind of goes into the other story that I think of. My niece, she's 2, and she is out in the field with us as much as she can be. She absolutely loves the dirt, loves plants. She learned how to harvest food real quick, loves eating it right off the vine. She knows every single person's name that works here at the farm and calls them out by name, knows their truck, says, oh, there's Jose, oh, there's so-and-so. And so it's really that family connection, and that's what it means to me.
You've indoctrinated her without really having to indoctrinate her. She's fully on board with it, and she's fully boots on the ground. And I agree with your earlier statement about you come to the farm and you just can kind of calm down and slow down. And that's what I do when I get to Mortimer Farms or any of the farms in the valley that we can visit. By the way, on fillyourplate.org, you can do a search on farms that are, that you can get on and have that moment that day, even if it's just an hour. Basically, with Mortimer Farms, you guys have made it so somebody can almost be there for the whole day. But there is this calming essence to a farm that I think we forget. And thank you all for the local farms that do that for us. And really on the dairy too, Josh, maybe you don't open the dairy to the public, but when you guys give tours, any farm I go to, whether it's a dairy farm or we're talking to Ashley with Mortimer Farms, I just feel that sense of self-worth.
Well, and in talking with Josh and Ashley both, you can see the passion they have for what they do. And I think that's true of their counterparts as well. There's a lot of passion in producing that food for the consumers, for the community. And, it's great to have the local products right here with us.
And so if someone's wondering how to get to Mortimer Farms, Ashley, they just go to your website. And what's the name of it?
Yes, our website's mortimerfarmsaz.com. We also are on Facebook and Instagram and kind of TikTok a little bit, but Facebook and Instagram is a great place to find us. We share a lot of the behind the scenes of what we do out in the fields and what's going on behind the scenes at the farm. So that's a great place to visit as well. And then, of course, you can come and see us in person. Something that I was reminded of when Julia was talking is the idea of slow food. And that's really what I feel like the world is swinging back to, is the idea of slow food. And what farmers and ranchers have always been ingrained in is the idea of slow food, of connecting back to where that food comes from and scratch cooking and getting local ingredients and connecting to each ingredient. And I love all the things that Josh said about the dairy industry. I learned so much of the things that I didn't even know I wasn't knowing. And that's another part of farming, is the continuous education and learning about things that other people are doing and bettering our craft so that we can create an even better product and serve the animals even better and care for the land even better.
Yeah, being a farm girl, I've been in farming all my life, even partnering with my family on a farm and then getting out of it in 2005 and now working for Arizona Farm Bureau. I'm learning something new every day when I get out to the farm. But Tammy, the other thing that we wanted to point out, you'll mention it with your website, but also fillyourplate.org is also a searchable database of products that you can purchase directly. Let's say you want to purchase Arizona beef. You can go to the website, select beef, and up will pop anywhere from 45 to 50 different beef producers that will sell directly. And there's also a searchable database. I think I mentioned that earlier, of farms you can visit. We also a searchable database of recipes, and then also a searchable database of those farmers markets, like Ashley's Families takes their produce, their product to. And so there's a lot of ways that you can connect to the local farmer, even if you don't go onto the farm. But you guys have some interesting things on your website as well.
Well, we have a local product sheet if you are interested in seeing what is produced locally, but also even just going to the grocery store. Most
right.
of the fresh foods in Arizona are in the grocery store 24 to 48 hours later. If you shop the perimeter of the store, you're going to be getting all the fresh fruits and vegetables. You're going to be getting the fresh dairy, the fresh beef. You're going to be getting your grains, and you're not going to be getting the highly processed foods. So a lot of our local products are in that perimeter. You're going to be getting healthy choices in the perimeter. And I would encourage you, if you're short on time especially, that is the best way to go, and you can get local product.
There was a while ago a study that was done by the University of Arizona just with the meat case, and they were able to conclude that about 52% of the meat in the meat case in a local grocery store is coming from Arizona beef producers. But again, since Mortimer Farms raises beef and then they harvest it and they have it in their store, you can go to Mortimer's, their country store, and also buy their beef. And like I said, fillyourplate.org provides that searchable databases of people that sell you beef directly. And we didn't really mention it as we should. Hickman Family Farms, a good chunk of all of their eggs are in just nearly every local grocery store. So to your point, shop around the perimeter. It's going to be easy for you to lock on to local produce, obviously dairy, as you've already mentioned, eggs. It's just stay in the perimeter of the store, I guess.
Absolutely. And Josh and Ashley, thank you so much for being with us today and giving us a glimpse at what happens on the farm. We really appreciate it, and you've given us lots of information, and we can take that and fill our plate with a lot of healthy options. Thank you.